Hello everyone, I am the Method Kirby. Welcome to my channel, The Commander Tavern. The Commander Tavern is a channel dedicated to my favorite Magic the Gathering format. On this special episode of Barkeep Upkeep, I'm going to go over my origins in the game, how I started, my roller coaster ride through the hobby, and how I am where I am. This video is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. You can pre-order your Wilds of Eldraine product using my link in the description. That would really help out the channel at no extra cost to you. To see other cool folks who support my content, check out the description below. That helps out the channel at no extra cost to you. But the very best way you can help support your channel is with my Patreon. There are plenty of perks for being a patron, such as early access to certain videos, exclusive deck text, gifts, and more for as little as $1. You can also support my channel for free by simply liking, subscribing, and sharing, which also helps out a lot. I put out a video every Monday, so you don't want to miss out. You can join my Discord server for free if you want to join the Commander Tavern community. All pertinent links are down in the description. Alright, let's get back to the episode. When I was a kid, I collected Marvel trading cards well before Magic the Gathering was ever a thing. I collected from all kinds of sets, this one here being the only one I was able to complete, thanks to my mom buying me the complete set from my local hobby store for my birthday. However, as cool as these cards were, their purpose was just to collect and look at. Maybe read the cool information in the back. It wasn't until 4th grade when I saw some upperclassmen apparently playing with collectible cards that I discovered Magic the Gathering. They stored their unsleeved decks in a plastic case not too dissimilar from this one. The very first card I ever saw was this version of Thorn Thalet. I thought the art was absolutely amazing. I was immediately intrigued and they taught me how to play. Granted, in the short amount of time that was my lunch period, it wasn't enough. It took me about a week to learn how to play this game. And this was back during Fallen Empires, when playing with banding was commonplace and there wasn't even a stack. So yeah, I guess you can say it was a pretty complicated game. From hand-me-down bulk to eventually saving up for my first starter deck from Ice Age, I slowly but surely bought singles from my local hobby store, as well as trading rare for rare, which is how I was back in the day in the schoolyard. I would also buy the occasional booster pack and be surprised each time since I didn't know which cards were in which set, since this was before the internet was in every household, and I didn't buy TCG magazines. Buying a bunch of Homelands packs didn't make me an expert player nor deck builder anytime soon, but at the least the lore of that set cemented my interest in the game since I loved comic books too. I would play Type 2, which is what Standard was called back then, and Type 0, which is what we called Kitchen Table Magic, where there was no ban list. I also played multiplayer Magic. Every time we managed to get a new player into the group, we'd always suggest they get the starter deck from the latest set. This to us was the best product to start since you had something to play with, especially since getting basic lands wasn't that simple back in the day. And a cool reference book that trolled you if you looked up the definition for loop. Even getting the World Championship gold border decks was great since we not only had a starting deck, but a deck that was played in the Worlds. By then we knew to sleeve our cards so the different card back wasn't an issue. It would take us a while to do that though. I remember keeping all my decks held together in rubber bands in my Garfield pencil case. Fast forward to when dual decks came out. That was immediately an amazing way to get your friend into the game, or possibly two friends, since you had two decks in a single product. I absolutely loved this, and while it was discontinued in that form and theme, it eventually returned in a different way, which I'll talk about soon. Eventually we got the Jumpstart type product with boosters to mesh together. This to me is now another amazing way for people to get started in Magic. It adds the element of randomness while also maintaining the element of having a viable deck to play with. If you want to be extra spicy, use 3 Jumpstart boosters to make it a 60 card quote-unquote pre-constructed deck. Warning, this is too spicy. Only do this at your own risk. But then starter decks return. And even better, 2-player starter decks returns. And there is a new one just released. Once more getting 2 decks in a single product so that you always have someone to play with if you're starting. As for myself, my Magic journey has been tumultuous. I only played competitively and kitchen table Magic. I've had to play on-off for varying personal reasons, but I always return to the game. I almost quit altogether in 2013 when Theros first came out, but a buddy of mine introduced me to the Commander format and got me hooked again. Even though I had almost 20 years worth of cards, I still bought a starter deck, in this case in the form of the Oloro Commander Precon. I loved it right out of the box, and so I bought the Yeleva Commander Precon. I soon began tinkering with them. I made Oloro too oppressive though, so I eventually disassembled it. But that Yeleva Precon, which I focused on Nekosar, is a deck I still play and update to this day. You can find a link to it in the corner above and in the description below. So even a 19-year veteran was still buying precons to get into the game. It reminded me of when I first started in 4th grade. I had a small collection of hand-me-down cards that I used to tinker with that Ice Age precon when it came out. And now to get into Commander, I got a pre-constructed deck to then tinker with via my collection. This is why I'm a firm believer that the best way to get new players into Magic is with either Jumpstart packs or pre-constructed starter decks. This one here being a great one for new players. To all you viewers, how did you get into Magic? What are your favorite products? Do you focus more on collecting or playing? How would you get new players into the game? Let me know in the comments. I would like to thank all my patrons for supporting me, and a quick shout out to all my higher tier patrons, the Brewers, for their patronage. I'd also like to thank Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check the links in the description too. That also helps out the channel. Especially if you want to pre-order the latest 2-deck starter product. Do so via the sponsored link at no extra cost to you. You can find a lot of great cards in it. And to everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Barkeep Upkeep on the Commander Tavern. I am the Method Kirby, and thanks for listening.